Next action on the track, women's 5,000 meters, oozing with Ethiopian talent.
Yeah, an intriguing race for me. We're going to just go through them. These are the two pacemakers on the outside, and they'd be pretty much making it for Isa here, who is such a great talent. And we saw she finished third in Doha last week, but has had a great season already, which is building on her fast-growing reputation. Won the All-African Championships already this year. She's still under 20. And then Nadia Botticletti from Italy, who on cross-country, we've seen her so many times as European champion, but has really improved on the track as well in recent years. She was very close to a 1500 PB just recently as well. This lady here, we're going to go past her, Amabor. Watch out, she doesn't really race on the track, but goodness me, how good is she on the roads? And I'll talk about her in a second, because another great young talent here is Melkmat Wudu, who will be trying to go with the pace with Isa. They've asked for a world-leading pace inside 14:26, in fact heading towards 14:20, which would be something. And I'm just not sure there's enough depth in the field here, but we'll see how it goes. We will be using the wave lights to try and help with the pacing. The two youngsters on the outside are going to be the physical pace, as it were, as they race to the front. Isa just slots in quickly behind them. One or two others to mention: Adina Jebitok, the Kenyan, who might try and give the Ethiopians a go. Esther Chebet of Uganda as well. Botticletti will be hoping that she can get her track season off to a great start, but rather wisely he's decided that pace is going to be a bit quick for me. So you'll see three different colours. The blue is kind of going to go about 13:20. The green is at the world lead time of 14:26. That's the fastest in the world this year. And then the white lights will be a little slower further back at around the Olympic qualifying time. So these two heading off. Now, I mentioned, Chris, I was going to be interested to see whether Lekina Amebo, who ran ran the 7th fastest time ever for 10K this year already, has run incredibly fast on the roads. I saw her win the Monaco 5K in February in 14:30 odd. Yeah. Now, can you translate that to track? She's never run a top-class track race, but has already let these athletes go away, which is probably tells us that, oh no, is that her at the back of the pack there? I think it might be. So, tells us a lot. I'm really interested to see whether or not she can translate this great ability on the roads into a track performance. No, she's much further back. She actually lives in Spain, and she's heading for Spanish citizenship, she hopes, somewhere down the line. But this pace looks maybe a little bit quick early on. Yeah. In fact, it's very quick. It is very quick indeed.
And those three groups very distinctive, as you say. 14:26, the world lead, held by Beatrice Chebet. And didn't she do well last weekend in Doha, burning away from the Ethiopian opposition? Just took the handbrake off with 200 meters to go. So let's just dip back to the high jump. Honsel, so already seen Topic go clear at 1:95. This the final attempt for the German, who's had a brilliant evening regardless. No, not to be. So Honsel, but she could be very pleased with her evening's work. Wonderful clearance, first time clearance, remember, at 1:91. Was leading the competition at one stage. So Honsel in second place. Topic clear at 1:95, will jump on.
Well, they were a little bit exuberant early on in the first sort of 300-400 meters. Just started to settle down a little bit now, and that's one of the reasons why there's a big gap. And wanted to jump the gap. Chebet and Tesfaye managed to get on the back of this train, although the others, though, are a good 15 meters back, kind of a little bit in no man's land. But at the front, Isa's in there, as is Wudu and Besse. And then, as I said, right at the back there, Chebet just hanging on. So it was a pretty good, solid pace through that first 1,000. They wanted 2:52, right on schedule. They're running 69-second laps. They've settled down into that after that pretty quick first 300-400 meters. And look at the pacemakers already hurting. We've lost one already. I think we're going to lose the second one pretty quickly here. I said, I think I was saying to you, Chris, I wasn't too sure about the quality of the pacemaking here. So it will be down to the lights then. Yeah. And the question really is going to be, with Wudu and Issa, whether they really want to go for this, because you can't leave it late, and Wudu's carrying a number. So Issa's following her on here, and they're thinking, okay, pacemaking done, it's us and the lights now. 68.8 for that lap.
Apostolovsky then, with her chance at a third success at 195. She's already seen Monsell fail. No, not to be either. So Topic, the only clearance at 195, looking to make it back-to-back wins in the Diamond League. And let's just remind ourselves, Topic, only 18 years old. What a future she's got ahead of her. I mentioned her father, Dragutin. We've seen him quite a bit in the hotel. Calmness personified. Should also mention Biljana, her mother, who was a terrific triple jumper. So Apostolovsky will settle for second place. Honsel has had a brilliant evening in second.
Well, all the hard work will have to now be done by the athletes themselves, and why not? So Wudu carrying a number with Issa, and then Hambessa, who was 5th in Doha last week. This is still, she's a very, very inexperienced 5,000 meter runner. I make this only a third ever 5,000, and Issa has decided maybe they're going to try and help each other, the two youngsters here, to get the fast time, a 69 lap there. So doing a great job, and that's now 5 in that group, and then the others have dropped off.
Topic then with one final attempt at 198. She's already got the competition won, remember. This would be for the right to jump on. Topic, the teenager, top of her game. Oh yes, nice. Really nice clearance, and now we get some reaction. Very poker-faced earlier on, but that means something to her, you can tell. And that is a personal best. 198 clear for the first time in her career, 197 her previous best. European bronze medalist, and Dad looking on will be absolutely delighted. And the cherry on top of the cake is a national record, a Serbian national record at 18 years old. How about that? And that's why you get the reaction you're seeing there, and congratulations, rightly so.
Well, from one great youngster to another couple here, they are really going for this, trying to hang on to the lights. They're running around about the 14:20 pace required. They went through 2 kilometers in 5:44, so almost perfect pacing. And look at this, they're sharing the work here, the two of them. Hambessa, Sefai and Jabitov trying to hang in there. Jabitov, the only Kenyan, 4 Ethiopians here, but the two youngsters at the front, unbelievable talents when you think about how young they are, and you think about all the great Ethiopian runners there were. Remember in the one of the Chinese Diamond Leagues, Gidai couldn't even get the win, ended up in third in the sprint finish. But you know, they are now showing they can run quick as well. So they are heading or working with each other, try and hang on to those green lights there. As I mentioned earlier, the green lights kind of going at 14:26 pace. They're just dropping off that a little bit now, but the lights go at this kind of even pace, Chris, and sometimes even if you drop pace, I think it's a bit early to be dropping off too much, but you can pull it back in the last couple of laps.
If you're wondering, by the way, for the front-on shot, that is Wudu, who's taken a number off, or lost a number. I think she's carrying it in her hand. So Wudu and Issa, two 19-year-olds. The talent and the depth and the breadth of talent in Ethiopia in middle distance running is absolutely frightening.
You know, I was mentioning Hambessa, who's looking really good, just hanging in there. As I said, I still think this is only her third 5,000. Sometimes difficult to work all of that out as Jabitov just tries to go past Sefai. She struggles, but they are having to work hard. Look at Issa's head just starting to rock and roll a little bit here, but look how Sefai's, is the one who's hanging in there. Just doing the, not letting Wudu and Issa do the work. So 4 of them now. Jabitov working hard there. Hambessa is the one who has dropped off. It is phenomenal, you know, and they do run a lot of races. I think that's the only thing I'd be kind of concerned about when you head towards an Olympic season. But it's partly them, you know, they've got to establish themselves even within the Ethiopian network to even have a chance of looking at selection. We now know that the Kenyan team are actually going to have their 10,000 meter trial in Eugene next weekend, which is, you know, we often have the Ethiopian trials in Hengelo or a similar meet, They've had them in Spain in recent years as well. 2:56, much slower kilometre, 4 seconds slower there. So that's why the lights are disappearing a little bit. Always a chance you could pull it back if you can just hang on to the pace somewhat, but definitely slowing now.
And for the record, the meeting record was never really going to be touched. Elma Zayana, 14:16. It's almost like synchronized running, isn't it? We talk about synchronized swimming, but the way they're interchanging and taking on responsibilities, Wudu, then Issa, now Wudu taking closer order, and Issa's just dropped back to take her turn.
I think the thing about Issa, you know, she looks as though she normally would beat Wudu. You know, the two of them run against each other pretty regularly, I have done in recent years. Issa does have the ability to win races. I mean, she won that big race in the Millrose in New York against Laura Muir, but got disqualified because she
cut inside the stagger too early. Yeah,
just right at the beginning of the race. But the evidence was there of what she's capable of. You know, Laura Muir, obviously one of the best 1500-meter runners in the world, so that showed you what she's capable of in the latter stages, and I think that's why the Ethiopian contingent are very excited about her future. She was one of the few athletes actually in 2023, actually few ever, to run all 3 parts of the World Series. So she took part in the World Cross Country Championships, the World Road Racing Championships, and the World Track Championships.
And that provides perhaps a clue as to why she's so strong, because they all complement each other so well.
Tesfaye looking very, very good. A really big step up for her here. This is way, way, way inside anything she's ever done before. But we do see that she did perform well in the couple of the recent big 5Ks on the roads. In fact, behind Issa in the race in Germany back last month. And her performance on the roads there was 14:41, which is the reason why she's in this. You know, these days, before the so-called super shoes, all track performances were always way better than your road performance. Well, not so these days. It's almost the reverse for some athletes, and that's a 72. Really are going much slower now. And that means that you can tell that because Jabitok all of a sudden has come to life here as we start to enter the latter stages.
Yeah, she has. She's got a much more rangy style, a longer stride than the 3 athletes in front of her, just loping along. Much taller athlete as well, but so economical. Issa with the arms just tucked in nicely. Wudu still without the number on her front, but in 3rd place there. These 3, and now 4, pretty much stride for stride. And now just an injection of pace again, you felt, from Issa.
The athlete who's moving the quickest is the one I mentioned at the beginning. Amibo has made up about 30 meters on them, but she's still a good 30 or 40 meters behind. Yeah, there she was. You just saw it coming into shot there, and it was almost as the Wudu's looking behind, going, we're going a bit slow here. She's not going to catch them, but they've slowed so much. That 4th kilometer, very, very slow. So they're gathering now. 4 athletes with 2 laps to go. It's going to be between them here. Who is going to have the finish? And Tesfaye deciding, maybe I want to go a little bit earlier. Wudu knows that most of the time she gets out-kicked by Issa. So she's wanting to maybe move things on a little bit earlier as well. But less than 800 meters left.
Well, Tesfaye wasn't decisive, and Issa's right there, tucked in behind her. Wudu's still carrying her number. I wonder how uncomfortable that is. Jabitok there, still very much in contention, and now she just finds another gear and just ups the cadence a little bit, and is on the shoulder of Wudu in 3rd place.
Good effort here by Tesfaye. She's a good 3,000-meter runner as well, so she might have a little bit of pace in her legs, but this is the first time we've seen her on the track. And again, Issa did beat her in that road race I mentioned back in April, so she'll be thinking, although she does look as though she's working a little bit hard, she'll be thinking, if I just hang in here, I'll have the pace at the end. She's getting closer, isn't she? Amibo might be thinking if there'd only been another 3-4 laps, but there's not. So these 4, Jabitok hanging on desperately as they approach the bell.
Yeah, Jabitok, a little bit of a gap, a meter maybe growing a little bit between the first 3 and Jabitok as they hit the bell at just inside 13:30, 400 to go. And now it is Tesfaye starting to put her foot on the pedal.
running a little bit wide, quite smart, and as it goes around the bend there, they're not going to let anyone get round easily, and then just checks back in. But look at Jepitok on the outside, the one who looked as though she might not have it in her legs to really muster a finish here. But everybody looking tired. Wudu just going to hang for the inside lane. Tesfaye stretching out again. Has gone through the gears on this last lap, is doing her very best to run the finish out of the others. Issa still hanging in there. Jepitok doing her level best to try and hang on to the two Ethiopians. And Tesfaye once more just tries to find a little bit extra. Jepitok still not gone, still hanging in there. Now can Issa just find that little bit of pace? I'm not sure she can, because Tesfaye can sense the victory here, but Issa's fighting hard. They're going to take this all the way to the line. Who's going to get there? There's half a yard, and now it's Issa, just gets ahead. Issa takes the win, 14:34. Great race again. And Issa continues to show why people are so excited about her future, but that was hard work today. She did set a stall out to go and run hard. They set off at a good pace. Wudu and her tried to make it quick. It slowed considerably in the middle, and then it was Tesfaye who did her level best to try and run the finish out of everybody as Batacleti comes across the line there, well over 15 minutes. Good race again. I mean, we've seen 3 or 4 great races already in the women's 5,000 this year, but not yet popping the really, really fast times. All have been round about in the same zone.
That was a really exciting finish, wasn't it, Issa? Third last weekend in Doha, getting the win here. And Tesfaye, who was there to be shot at, here it is, and she had to work so hard. And coming into the home straight, looking at the effort etched on the face of these two, it looked as though Tesfaye maintained her composure more, but look at the grit and determination on the face of Issa, and she just wanted it perhaps a little bit more than her opponent today. 18 years old, she has got such a future. A little bit more ragged, but real determination there. Brilliant win. Jepitok coming home in 3rd place. Personal best, though, for Tesfaye.
Yeah, good few personal bests behind the winner. In fact, the 3 or 4 in that top 5 or 6. Another great race.